Hey everybody, welcome to the garden and hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. Alright, so we're going to be doing a quick video on screeners. So I've been asked by a couple people in the Discord about how I use the TradingView screeners. And so I figured I'd just do a video. So if there's any future questions, you can always just reference back to this video. So it's actually pretty simple. There's a lot of screeners out there, a lot of free screeners, TradingView being one of them, and then there are paid screeners that are going to probably, be a lot more specialized for very specific things you're trying to filter out, filter for. So, depending on what you're looking for, you may need to go down the paid route. I don't really have any recommendations off the top of my head, so you're going to have to explore that on your own. Also, if you're trying to, kind of screen for something off of a custom built indication that you've made or that you use, you may still need to go down the paid route if you don't find enough diversification in filters on the free screener. So, just keep that in mind as we go through the screener here on TradingView. So, TradingView Screener, which again is free, is quite good. So, we're going to go over through what I look for in stocks, and then I'll show you how I do it in crypto. Now I'm just going to use the screener, or at least display how I filter things out for my specific trading. So again, I'm a breakout trader. I'm looking for the trend continuation after some form of contraction. So kind of like what you're seeing in WDC here, right? We had this nice period of time where price is coming up, then starts to shallow out and surf on the moving averages, and then as we're breaking, I try and get in on the breakout, and hopefully trade goes my way, which it did, which is pretty good. So first thing for TradingView, this little radar symbol is the screener. Click on that. If you want to have your chart up with the screener instead of just having a whole open tab, you can just hit this box here, and you can essentially get it to come onto the side of your screen as you see. Okay, now we're in stock screener because we're going to be looking at stocks. For me, I don't really have that many filters. All I need are a couple things. So firstly, the index. So I want to see the NASDAQ. Okay, that's very important. So the NASDAQ 100, the NASDAQ composite, because we want to see those smaller companies in the NASDAQ, and then the Russell. The S&P and the Dow, they're great, but for what I'm looking for, a lot of those companies move a bit too slow, so I don't really have them in my filter. Okay, so those are the three indexes. Okay, again, NASDAQ 100, NASDAQ composite, and then the Russell. Then I like to get a ADR percentage here. So this is actually quite important. This is maybe the most important thing. I want an ADR, which is the average daily range, to be a minimum of 5% or higher. So 5% or above. Okay, so what does that mean? Essentially, if you have an average daily range, and I have it set on my indicator here for 22 days, I cut out the weekends, you have an average of a daily return or a daily percentage move of 6.38%. Okay, so what that means is when you start to break a contraction period, your movements, here, let's cut this out here just so you get a better view. Your movements are worth my time. There's a lot of volatility, right? So this candle that broke out here, if you can see the percentage on the top of the screen, that's an 8.96% candle. Then you had a rest day, and then this candle here went up 16.77%. It's a big move, and that's only happening because it has a high ADR. It's had a lot of volatility. If you see a similar setup on, let's say, like Microsoft or Apple, it'll be great because it moves, but you're probably looking at like a 2 or 3% move. And as a trader, that's just not really good enough for volatility wise, like for potential of returns. So again, I like higher ADRs. There is a give with this though. A lot of times a higher ADR does come with lower volume. So you got to be careful. If your account gets bigger, you have to start to filter out for higher volume stocks, but the higher the volume, most likely the lower the ADR. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind. But that's a good problem to have. If you're gotten that big, yeah, it's a great problem to have. I don't really have that issue as much, but there are times where I might have to drop down to 3% or higher for the ADR for whatever reason. Right, it just happens. Okay, and then finally, the last filter I have is, where are we? Bear with me. Okay, it's not here. So I want the moving average. So we do, you could do EMA, SMA, whatever you want. I'll just do an EMA for now, the exponential moving average. And I want to see price above the 50, the 20, or the 10. So if I'm looking for the most aggressive stocks to the upside, I'm going to have it on the 10 on the daily, and we add that filter. And let's put that on. So we want the 10 below price. Okay, so that's a lot. That's 682 symbols. That's quite a bit. So so in this case, I would actually look to raise the ADR higher to cut down on this, right? So you don't really, it's good to have so many symbols in your list, but if it's that high where you're in the hundreds even, you probably want to filter out more. You probably want to try and get something to where you're down towards like maybe like 50, 30 around there. But it's not the, it's not that big a deal. Like if you're above 100, hey, that's all right. If you have time, you can go through the list. But yeah, so this is the main thing of what I'm looking for in stocks. Because again, this ties in with the way I trade these stocks. Again, it's a breakout system. So I have my filters looking for the best breakouts that I can get. And again, EMA on the 10 is going to be the most aggressive. Maybe above the 50, it's going to be, things are above the 50, but they may not be as impulsive, right? So you just have to find what you're looking for. So that is essentially all I'm looking for in the stock land. So let's go over to crypto land. So we'll go to this tab here on stable. I'm again using the same setup, same strategy. Let's go open the screener for crypto. So if you're going into crypto, you have to change from stock screener to crypto coin screener. Okay, you must do that. So for me, what I look for, the most important thing outside the ADR is volume. So 24-hour volume needs to be, it depends. But if I'm going to be using like a smaller account or something, I'll go for 10 million or above. You go 30 million or 50 million or above. Never, so if you go to manual setup, never put like 2, leave that empty, because you never want to cap what the highest volume can be. Just have it at a minimum. Like the minimum is 10 million or the minimum is 30 million. And the way you do that is just type in 30 and then M, and there you go, it's 30 million. Okay. But whatever you want your minimum to be. Obviously, the higher the volume, the bigger market cap coins are probably going to get, right? So if you go into like 1 billion and above, you're going to be looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP. But if you go down to like 10 million, you're going to be seeing things like, Stable, which I'm in. You're going to be seeing Zcash, Aave, etc. And then it's going to get even better when you add the ADR. So for crypto, you want to be aggressive. I want 5% or above. And that's going to be a lot of cryptos. But honestly, go even higher. Go for 10% above, right? Go for the ones that have moved the most, that have gone crazy. Look for those guys, okay? Look for the crazy ones, because those are the ones that you can potentially get the most out of it. Now, it depends on your strategy, of course. If your strategy is not, mine, you're going to have to tailor it a bit differently, your screener. But for me, I want a high ADR. 10 million is fine if I'm using a small account, but if I use a bigger account, it's probably going to have to be 30 to 50 million minimum. Then outside of that, it's the same thing we want to do on the SMA or EMA. Doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. Let's just do the SMA. We'll do the 10, and we'll make sure it's on the daily time frame. And we want it below price because we're looking for longs, right? So now we have 43 instruments, 43 coins here. And then you can just do this right here where, you have the screen on your side. Once you have your list, you have the filters you want. You can just slide this over to the side here. Make sure you click the coin, and then with your keyboard, just go down, right? And now you have a list of things that should be meeting your filter requirements, and anything that catches your eye, you can see on your screen via the chart very quickly. And then once you do, maybe you can flag it, right? Maybe you're going to flag it, or maybe you're going to, just look at that for the rest of the day, whatever you're looking to do. And yeah, so that's really it. And this is the way you can make watch lists really fast. Like, oh, here was a great one. Look, resolve, perfect one. Nice pop up, grinded to the side here, and then we had a beautiful break on the orb. Let's see if there was good volume on that break. So with these sort of charts, these are the aggregate charts, the crypto charts, so you can't actually see the volume. But let's go on Femex here and let's see. Is there any break of volume here? So this one actually didn't have a huge volume spike. So I don't know if I can't say safely I would have jumped into it, but this was a really nice break of the orb right here. And obviously, as you can see in hindsight, it had a huge pop. So really, really nice. And that, again, is on the list. And that's what you want to see. Okay. So that's it. So this should be a quick video. That's the way I do it. If you have any more questions, you can always leave a comment, or if you're in the Discord, just message me there. And yeah, so guys, have a great day, and remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. I love you guys. Take care.